Happy Monday, everyone. This is Martha from Nature Niche. And to sort of round out my bird feeding series, I wanted to talk to you this week about the importance of water in the landscape. So it's a key element to providing quality wildlife habitat. Birds need it. They can get some from their food sources, but most bird species drink water every day. They also use it to bathe, to help clean their feathers and remove parasites. So it's important for those reasons. And in the winter, it's especially important to provide water because it's hard to find unfrozen, especially in the coldest of temperatures. So providing a dependable, fresh supply of water is yet another thing you can do to help support your native wildlife, including your wild birds. And by having that water there, you can actually attract more bird species, ones that don't necessarily eat seeds and might not visit your bird feeders, but will come to your yard to use your bird baths. So nature's bird baths are often puddles on the ground, and that's what you want to aim for. Pretty shallow containers. You want to keep your water to about 1 to 2 inches. Any deeper than that, you might have things get stuck in the bird bath and drown, and it's deeper than most birds would want to wade into. So keep it shallow. Providing bird baths with pretty shallow slopes or good footholds are important. So you can do things like place twigs across the bird bath, or large stones, or even sand across the bottom. If you have a more slippery surface to your bird bath, that'll all give the birds pretty secure footing. And in the winter, that helps them have a place to perch and drink and stay dry. So that'll help them on the coldest days. And then it's important when you're choosing your bird bath, make sure you're picking out something that's of durable material and is easy to clean, and you find a way to keep it heated or use materials that can withstand freezing. It's helpful to have the bird bath near the ground, again, because that's where a lot of the birds naturally are used to finding water. If you're concerned about predators like domestic cats running loose in your area, then having a little bit higher bird bath raised up 2 to 3 feet can help with that. Or you can use a hanging bird bath or something like a clamp mount bird bath on a deck railing, something like that. And it's important in thinking about location where you put your bird bath. In the summer months, having it in the shade is very helpful. It reduces evaporation, and it also keeps it fresher longer, the water fresher. And placing it near trees and shrubs. Birds, when they're bathing and are wet, they can't fly as well, and so having quick, short distance places for them to take cover is helpful, will help them feel more safe, and you'll get more bird usage of your bird bath. So those are things to keep in mind. Finding a way to provide moving water can also help increase the use of your bath. I think there are studies out there, something like 10 times more birds. You'll get that much more volume of birds with some sort of moving, flowing, dripping water. So you can do things like adding a dripper mechanism to your existing bird bath. You can even just use a bottle strung above your bird bath with a hole punched in the bottom to slowly drip in. But that sound and the rippling movement of the water attracts more birds. You can also add things like misters that'll spray water near your bird bath and on the surrounding vegetation. Different birds like to, like hummingbirds, like to rub up against wet leaves. And you can use things like water wigglers. This is a solar wiggler that can be used with unheated and heated bird baths, and it just keeps the water rippling. It also helps disrupt mosquitoes laying their eggs in the water, so helpful from that perspective. So that's water movement. And then it also helps to have some sort of heating device for the winter to keep water from freezing. So there are a couple different options. There are immersion type bird bath heaters. So this is an example, and when purchasing those, make sure you're buying ones that have a turn-off mechanism if the water runs out. So when it's dry, it turns off to avoid any wildlife injuries, and one that's thermostatically controlled, meaning it'll only heat when it needs to. That'll help save energy. So look for those sorts of things. Or you can use a heated bird bath itself. So we carry the Erva version of those. This is the ground heated bird bath. And with that, it's a self-contained unit made of flame retardant materials, and the whole dish heats up, and it's thermostatically controlled. So again, only comes on when it needs to. When temperatures are warmer, it won't run at all. And with those, you want to make sure they're plugged into a ground fault interrupted circuit, just to make sure no chance for electrical shock. So those are things to consider as far as heated bird baths. Also, winter air tends to be pretty dry, and so lots of evaporation happens, and it's not uncommon to have to fill your bird bath every day in the winter, so don't be surprised by that. It's important to note some places you might read about using glycerin or some other kind of antifreeze in your water. Don't do that. It's bad for the birds. If consumed in large enough quantities, it can be harmful or even fatal, and it tends to mat up their feathers, and when their feathers get matted, they don't provide as good of insulation for the birds. So don't put things in the water. Just try to find a submersible or heated bird bath to provide water over the winter months. And lastly, it's really important to keep your bird baths clean, so rinse them out every few days. It's important to disinfect with about 6 to 10% bleach solution and wash with mild soap. For more information on that, you can refer back to Monday with Martha number 12, where I go over cleaning bird baths and feeders. And it's important, if you see algae forming at all, to do that disinfecting process. So I hope that helps you provide water in your landscape, and by feeding your birds well and providing water and native plants and good sheltering cover, you can have a very beneficial and meaningful relationship with the wildlife in your landscape. Thanks for listening. Take care.